Hello, everyone. I'm John Higgins, contributing writer to Film and TV Now, and I'm delighted to welcome one and all to this interview special with actress Lottie Lewis. Lottie
Hello.
has been in the business for 11 years and graduated from Italia Conti. Her first job was in a small role opposite the late great Bob Hoskins in Outside Bet, and she's appeared in over 12 film and TV productions in lead and supporting roles. Lottie, a warm welcome to you.
Hello, thank you very much.
You're welcome. First of all, what was the spark that inspired you to become an actor?
I tell you what, when I was at secondary school, I was in my drama classes, and there was a audition to go away to the Czech Republic to perform there. And I just did it as a joke. I went for the audition. And then my drama teacher turned around and said, you know what, you've really got talent. And I got the job. And from then on, my whole life just changed. I just loved it.
Mm-hmm. And as mentioned, you trained at Italia Conti. I mean, obviously there are different drama schools in London, like Lambda and RADA, and Italia Conti is another of those that I'm well aware of because it spawned a lot of talent who've gone on to great things. I mean, and just tell us a bit about the foundations and what that establishment teaches people in terms of the vital tools for the trade.
Well, it just teaches you, firstly criticism, constructive criticism, and like the throwbacks and the knockbacks, and they're very tough there. So it kind of gets you ready for when you do leave. The acting, the teaching was great, but it really just psychs you up for leaving drama school to going into the where you're going to be a small fish in a big pond. And getting yourself, you've got to be tough-skinned, and that's kind of a big thing what they teach you.
Mm-hmm. And we've got to talk about Bob Hoskins. I mean, he's one of our all-time greats. I mean, sadly, we lost him to Parkinson's disease. But don't get me wrong. I mean, he's he's in one of my favorite films of all time, The Long Good Friday, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Mona Lisa, The Cotton Club. I mean, the list is endless. I mean, what was it like working with him? And when you were working with him in your first role, I mean, what sort of advice did he give you?
And you know what? He was great. It was Outside Bet, and it was my first film. And it was near to the time when he was actually getting quite ill, because he actually he came up to me quite a few times, and he introduced himself to me like 3 times, which was I was a bit like, oh, I didn't realize at the time. But we sat in the there was like a little green room under heaters because we were filming outside, and to be fair, he just went straight to sleep. So after, when he would be off set, he'd just have a little snooze. But he was just the most kindest soul. And then I wrapped that day. So I finished filming, and he got everyone together, and he said, could we all come around for Lottie Lewis? She did such a great job. And he was the one who did, normally it's like the director to do that, or the producer. But Bob Hoskins did that. And I was like, whoa, and my dad was on set with me. And he was like, I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. And I was a lot younger, so I wasn't as aware of Bob Hoskins then. I was only kind of 18. So, but now I look back and I'm like, and it was his actual last film he did before he passed away.
Oh, God.
Really amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's generally, I mean, this is what we know. I mean, sometimes, I have met actors and stuff, who are familiar faces, and, their characters sort of dictate something different. But when you meet them, they're just incredibly nice, and because that's
Absolutely.
the power of their acting. So let's talk a little bit about your craft and where you are. When you're creating a character, I mean, how do you approach it? What are the things that sort of, what starts it off? I mean, when you get a script, I mean, obviously somebody's giving you a script that's cold and you're thinking, oh, what do I do here? I mean, where do you start off with the creation of your characters?
I guess I'll firstly read the scripts, read the character, read about my character. And then I'll kind of take myself out of Lottie, and I'll put myself in their shoes, and I'll kind of make a background to their story, so there's no background there, but I'll kind of make myself a background, think what happened in their past, how did they get here? And by doing that, that's how I'll more likely kind of get myself in that headspace of this character. And I just go from there, and then that's how kind of I would say that's most highlighting what I would do for that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, film and theatre are collaborative efforts. I mean, when you look at working in both of them, I mean, where do you feel that your strengths lie, and what do you when you're working in both medium? I mean, what are the things that excite you about just being on a set or on stage?
Oh, the set, I just love, I did with the recent film that I've just done. I hadn't been on set for a couple years, and I forgot that feeling. And just going back on set, the whole team become your family for 2-3 months. You literally, because there's nothing else that you're doing apart from going on set, filming. And like the nice thing of filming, which you don't get with theatre, is you get chances, you get double takes, you get 3, 4, 5 takes to do it. I mean, theatre is amazing because it's there, it's live, but it's just the cast, the crew become your family, and you build up such a strong bond that when it finishes, it's like, whoa, what do I do? You kind of get the blues, and it's like, it's crazy how much of a bond you can build up with someone you've only just met a week ago.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, let's talk a little bit. I mean, maybe would you like to share some of the other experiences? Because you've worked on quite a lot now, and you've got some experience, and each one is different. I mean, tell us a bit more about some of these productions, because of course we've had this wonderful memory of you about Bob Hoskins. I mean, what else could you share with us that is really great too? That was great.
I've done a few, I did a film called The Ice Cream Wars, where I played the girlfriend of the lead guy. And that was really good because that was my first kind of lead. And it was just mad how like involved you get, and going on to set, doing your thing and then coming off, and it's just like, you want to go back. I did a horror film, The Warning, where I was just absolute nutter of a person, and I had to throw up blood, and I thought, this is going to be wicked, and I did it, but we had to do the takes about 25 times because of all the angles, and I had to throw up this stuff in my mouth, which was, by the end of it, I thought I was going to actually be sick. But it was just so great playing characters that you're so different to.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of takes you out of, my head, and I get to play all these different characters, like these gangster roles, where I've been up behind a bar shooting people, and it's just you get to do. So that's what I love about acting, is you get to kind of do all these different things that you'd never be able to do in real life.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk more about what you got coming up at present. I mean, is there anything that we can look forward to that you're excited about? Is there anything that we can look forward to?
Well, we've got The Sun Always Also Rises, which is coming up soon. That's a film I've just done where I played the best friend of Ray. So I played the role of Lucy, and Ray is one of the leads. Lucy is her best friend, and it's a strong, hard-hitting film about domestic violence, abuse, but it's a very, 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 very female kind of hit, very good. It's a very strong cast. It's a strong, very strong. The whole film is just amazing. The script was written perfectly. Roland, the director, was unbelievable. So we've got that coming up, and that should be great. And then we'll go hopefully see what happens from there.
Okay. And I mean, diversity and gender are big topics in entertainment and media at present. I mean, with Me Too and Time's Up and a variety of other things, I mean, they're highlighted a lot more. I mean, what progress do you feel has been made, and where do you feel the media needs to concentrate to help talent like yourself?
I'm not too sure. That's a hard one. I'm not too sure, really. I mean, I've been very lucky, but I do think sometimes a lot of main roles are mainly based with men, which I think could, they could, if you think about most films, or like the Bonds and this and that, they're all kind of male. So I think they could go kind of maybe female, which is nice. And like the nice thing about Ray was a girl, it wasn't focused on the lead guy, which was very nice and different and empowering.
Okay. And what would you like to do in the future? Is there anybody you'd like to work with? Is there any projects that you'd love to develop yourself? I mean, a lot of actors become producers. I mean, in the last 2 years, people have had to show their initiative. I mean, but is there anything that you would love to develop or make?
I wouldn't go down that road to become a producer or a director. I much prefer, I love being in front of the camera. I'd get FOMO if I was behind. But I just think more, film, TV. I'd like to maybe even go down a TV role one day. See if I could go down that, do a soap, try doing a soap for a bit, or even theatre. I mean, I'm more acting based and kind of camera based. So that's really where I'd like to go.
Okay, so obviously, the challenges of the pandemic and everything else affected everyone, particularly the film and theatre industry. I mean, we understand that it would have affected you to a great significance. I mean, what did you do to survive, and how are you feeling now?
Well, I mean, I work at a tourist attraction in London, I'm not acting. I work here as an actor. So we closed for most of lockdown. But thankfully we were furloughed. But, the whole industry did suffer. And I think it's starting to build up again. Things are getting busier, and hopefully in a year's time, hopefully the industry will be back to normal, and, theatres are getting back together. Acting, you're starting to go for auditions rather than over Zoom. So it's the small things like that you kind of miss, Doing a Zoom audition or a self-tape isn't the same as seeing a director in person. Right.
Okay. And of course, let's talk a little bit about your influences. Who influenced you as an actress? I mean, who still influences you as an actress?
See, I love like Bette Midler, that old school kind of the comedy, but the serious, and can do a bit of both, and the lightheartedness, that sort of acting. I mean, you've got people like Tom Hanks who are amazing, and you just look at them and think, wow, there's so many actors out there who are unbelievable. But Bette Midler, I've always grown up, loved her. She's always been my one kind of influence who would strive to be like.
Well, basically the roles, I remember seeing her in The Rose, where she played like a drugged out pop star. But I remember things like, Ruthless People's another of my favorites of hers. Fantastic movie.
Yeah. So let's great. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit. I mean, how can people follow you on social media? I mean, where can people see your work and stuff?
So I'm on IMDb. Under Lottie Lewis. I have Instagram, which is charlu2. And I have a lot of stuff on there from my filming, my show reel, headshots. I just try to keep it as professional as possible, really.
And one final question before we wrap up. I mean, what makes you so proud as an actress, and what are your hopes for the future?
Well, I've got to say my first film with Bob Hoskins was a tick off the bucket list, I've been in 12 films now, and I'm hopefully it's going to get even better, and I hope for the future that, more auditions come in, and I keep getting those films, those TV, and hopefully one day, you'll see my name in shining light.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Lottie, I think it's been an absolute pleasure. It's a delight to meet you. I mean, you are somebody who is driven and determined, and I think you've got a lot of talent, and I think everybody will be really pleased to get to know you as they watch your work. So thank you very much for your time today, Lottie. Much appreciated. And to learn more about Lottie, by all means, check the social media she's just announced. For more articles, interviews, and reviews, you can go to www.filmandtvnow.com. We are currently looking at the Paris International Film Festival, a few other things that are happening. And by all means, support the cinemas and actresses like Lottie as they continue to move forward in their lives. And we thank you for your time. Thank you.